KFSR at CMAC present the Central Valley Ledger, a public affairs program featuring stories from all over the Central Valley with Sevag Tateosian, 90.7 KFSR.
Welcome to another edition of the Central Valley Ledger. We're recording out of the beautiful downtown Fresno studios of the Community Media Access Collaborative, Fresno and Clovis. Today's show, we're going to be talking a little bit about music, a little bit about opera, with two guests from the California Opera Association. First, I want to introduce Edna Garabedian. Welcome, Edna.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
I want to tell you that the other day I was telling somebody I'm interviewing Edna Garabedian, and they said, oh, right away. They said, yes, I've seen her sing before. So you have a name ID out there. People know who you are. And our other guest is Dr. Marshall Flam. Dr. Flam, welcome to the program. And I will tell you that I saw you sing, and you're very good.
Thank you.
So welcome, both of you.
Thank you.
First, I want to start and talk about the California Opera Association. What is this organization?
It was founded in 2000, an organization for young artists and aspiring artists who would like to train to become international opera stars and musical theater artists. Started here in Fresno, and it's reached out worldwide.
You had, I want to tell you that I saw both of you on Valentine's Day. We were at an event that the Opera Association put together. You have some marvelous talent on your team, but I love that you wore red today because not only are our chairs red, but Valentine's Day, red theme for Valentine's Day. That day, I bring that up because that day you had some international folks there too as well, correct?
Correct.
Tell us a little bit about some of the folks that you work with internationally.
We have artists that come from China, Egypt, Iran, Russia, Odessa, Armenia, and Mexico, South America.
Nice.
And it's just really wonderful to welcome all singers from all over.
Let's talk to Dr. Flam a little bit. Dr. Flam, you know, I didn't know you were going to sing that day, so I was just sitting back and we were enjoying the evening, and then he gets up and he starts singing, and it's like, wow, you're really a doctor though, right? And we're not just calling you Dr. Flam because...
I'm a medical doctor. I practiced oncology and hematology in Fresno in the Central Valley for 40 years.
Congratulations.
I was happily retired in 2014, and that's when I began to sing with Edna. I'm not a typical student of Edna's. I'm neither aspiring to become well-known except locally, and I'm not young. But I do enjoy singing, and I want to continue to improve as a singer for personal reasons, and plus I enjoy being on stage and performing.
But I read your bio. There was a little bit of entertainer in you early on in your career. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was born and raised in New York City, and was more interested in science and math and art as a youngster, and wound up going to a technical college, MIT. At MIT, I did perform on stage in what we called Tech Show, which was a show written by the people at MIT. We had a full orchestra. I did that a number of years, enjoyed that. I also sang in the chorus in high school, and in high school I had a group, a doo-wop group. We used to sing, 5 of us, I was the lead singer, and we sang a cappella and wrote our own songs. And actually at one point had a record company looking at us when I got accepted to the college of my choice and decided to give up singing, which I did until I retired, and that's where Edna comes into my life.
Hang on to that thought, because we're going to come back, because that's an interesting thing. You had a choice to make. Either you're going to continue the medical path, or you're going to do singing. You chose medical path, and you've done good in that field, but we'll come back to you, Dr. Flam.
Okay.
Edna, you have to tell us about yourself. People I mention you to know you. There was a letter in the editor months ago saying we should honor the California Opera Association and Edna Garabedian. Tell us a little bit about who you are. Who is behind the name Edna Garabedian?
A woman who just loves the world, loves people, and loves to enjoy each and every hour of each and every day. I'm a very grateful individual for the greatness of support that I've received worldwide. And I was raised here in Fresno. I went to New York City Opera at age 21, sang the lead role in the Cavalleria Rusticana, and went across to Europe and sang in Europe. I won the Metropolitan Opera competitions, and I continued a career worldwide. Came back to Fresno.
I'm so glad that you came back to Fresno. What an incredible talent to have here. You too, Dr. Flam, both of you. We're so glad that both of you are in Fresno doing wonderful things. Edna, you knew at an early age, I presume, I may be incorrect, that you love to sing. Tell us a little bit about when you realized this is something you really wanted to do.
I was 9 years old, and I was invited to the Warner's Theater.
Not too far from here.
Correct.
By the way, if I interrupt either of you, my apologies. During these interviews, I get excited, and so, you know, sometimes I want to jump in, so my apologies, but you're talking about the beautiful Warner's Theater, who's not too far
Correct.
from here.
My mother's first cousin was going to make a concert in the Warner's Theater, and at that time, I really knew, sitting in the last row of the theater, that I was destined to sing internationally and have a career.
So you're 9 years old, you go to this performance. I could just imagine your eyes get big,
Yes.
and you're like, I want to do this. Yes. Family support. You know, there are some times where families will say, oh, there's no money in music or whatever, and I'm instigating, by the way. How important is family support to someone that really wants to do this?
Family is incredibly important to an artist, and the extended family is very important. The extended family I refer to is the acceptance of the public. That is your extended family. And the love begins at home, and it extends out to those who become a part of your world. It becomes a part of the, it's cyclical, that what you give out to the world and what the world gives back to you. It is just so wonderful to give of yourself and then receive the love.
Where do you think you got this kind of value system where you genuinely love people? I know, because the first time I met you, it was like we're family. We were hugging and shaking hands and stuff
Right.
like that.
Yes.
And then I knew that you're a person that really likes people, and you want people to have a good time, because, you know, when you said come out to the Valentine's Day event, I thought, you know, I'm going to do that, and I'm glad I did. Where do you think this kind of value system comes from?
Having a very beautiful family life from a very young age. My father was the official state Santa Claus for the state of California, and all Fresnans know the legacy of the gift of giving love from our family. The Garabedians, the Pacheans, they're all families of heritage here, long-standing. And there's wisdom that has been of a great strength that I have drawn upon for an international career. It's a wonderful tribute to our home here in Fresno, the culture, the upbringing that I have had here.
We're going to come back to you, but I want to go back to Dr. Flam. Dr. Flam, you had a choice to make, obviously. Either go the music route, or you could have, you know, gone to medical school. How hard was it for you to kind of, I don't want to say forget the musical side, but kind of give up the musical side for medical school?
Well, I was always much more oriented to science and math than to the arts as a youngster. And music was more or less a hobby and something I did purely for my own pleasure. It's different now. I do it for other people's pleasures, but at that time, it was really a minor element compared to my overall desire to have a career in science. And after a very brief consultation with my father, who said, "You're not going to be a singer," I accepted the offer to go to MIT, and following that to medical school, and following my training to practice in Fresno and at UC San Francisco. I never regretted any of those decisions, including coming to Fresno. I've always loved being in Fresno. But I put music on the back burner. Once I was retired, and I was stimulated by a colleague, also a physician, also a singer, that actually studied for many years with Edna, to go talk to her. And I did happen to know Edna, not well, but she had been to my office many times with family members. I did go to see her. And the first thing I said to her is, "Edna, I don't think I'm an opera singer." And she said, "Well, let me hear you sing." I sang something for her, I don't remember what. And she said, "You're right, but you're a very good balladeer."
And you know, when you say that, I wanna jump in. It's, for me, constructive criticism is good. It helps me build, it helps me better. You were honest when you told him that.
Correct. Absolutely.
But you saw something in him, right? Like, what was it that you saw in him that you said, you know, this guy could make it singing?
A true talent, a true talent. Again, going back to the love, the talent is not necessarily in a set of vocal cords. The talent is in the heart. The talent that will carry the musical sound comes from the heart. And I saw the heart in Dr. Flam, and we developed the heart, didn't we?
I thought we were developing the vocal cords, but
It's been a real pleasure, a real beautiful journey with Dr. Flam to explore the possibilities of the entertainer, to explore the talent and the technical skill of the entertainer. And we've been going through a myriad of changes and security. It's just a wonderful pleasure to work with him.
You know, when I hear him talk, and I usually, you know, because I've done radio and TV for so long, when there's a unique voice, something tells me this person could either do voiceovers or sing or something like that. When he talks, his voice is a little different than the typical voice. Do you catch that at all? Or let's say you're out at the grocery store and the clerk is helping you, do you ever notice, wow, that voice is incredible?
The speaking voice is very revealing, and it's very easy to determine immediately if there is a potential for the human voice to develop the skill of singing. With Dr. Flam, his personality was the first attraction. The voice came along with his personality. He has a very vibrant personality. So the voice is vibrant, and it can do opera. All voices can do opera. All voices can do all the various media. You can do R&B, you can become Dean Martin, you can do everything with the human voice that you would like to do. It's changing the style, but you have to do the voice building first to have the instrument solid enough so that the instrument can sing for you and then can be shaped into a style. And that's what I found in Dr. Flam, the willingness to do that.
So, you know, we are taping this show, and then we're going to come back and we're going to do another interview with you for part of another show. But you have some events coming up that I want to mention in this edition, and then we'll come back, because I have a ton of questions to keep asking, because I really like learning about what both of you are telling us and our audience members. But there's something called Carmen coming up.
Correct.
Who's going to tell us about Carmen?
Edna, I'll tell you about the Doctor's concert.
Well, Carmen is going to be produced on August the 3rd and 4th at the Tower Theater.
Okay.
And it's an incredible cast of singers, artists that are shaping and developing their future for the roles. We have artists that are trying the roles for the first time, and that's exciting. I've always loved training artists, so my life of 65 years of training artists is going to show and tell in the Carmen production. It's a very wonderful opera that I have performed over 200 productions,
Wow.
many performances of 200 individual production styles. So I've done my homework in the training process to be able to bring Fresno a unique Carmen full of symbols. I happen to think that the California Opera Association is the grandest piccolo opera in the world, and it's our intent to give opera to Fresno forever as long as I'm here.
What a beautiful mission you're on.
Thank you.
And you're impressing a lot of people while you're doing it. So as far as Carmen goes, Tower Theater, August 3rd, August 4th, is there a theme or is there something that, if I don't know anything about Carmen and I go, am I going to learn something, or is there something that I'm going to listen to that I haven't heard before?
Our focus this summer is on Spanish music. We are wanting to give every ounce of our energy in the zarzuelas, the Spanish music that we'll be doing concerts, and the Carmen specific to the Spanish theme. It's about love, rejection. It has its morals, it has its immorals of the ethics and structure, both musically and interpretively. It's a very exciting production full of dancers, California Arts Academy, the Academia de Flamenco. We have the young youth dancers. It's an incredible forum for many artists to participate. And it's exciting.
So that's coming up August 3rd and August 4th.
Correct.
Both are going to be the same show, or do you have to go to one to catch part one or part two, or is it both the same?
We have a double cast, and that's also unique. We have 55 artists who have registered for training this summer. So I have two different casts of the Carmen. However, we have one José, and he's Ara Karapetyan from Iran. He's a very great tenor for the future. I'm very excited about Ara. He is both a dramatic artist and a very keen, spiritually sensed singer. So it's going to be an exciting production.
Sounds like it. Carmen is the name of the production. Tower Theater, August 3rd, August 4th. Okay, Dr. Flam. You know, I want to say that when we went to the Valentine's Day event, not only did we hear Dr. Flam, but we heard several other people do a wonderful job, and several other were local doctors as well. So tell us a little bit about this other promotion.
Right. We currently have 3 doctors that are active with the California Opera Association. Myself, and I'm a baritone tenor. Dr. Harvey Edmonds, who is still practicing neurology, he's a tenor. And Dr. Don Gady, who still practices medicine in Fresno, and he's a baritone. So we have the three tenors, but we couldn't call ourselves that because the name was taken. So I suggested we call ourselves the Three Tremors. That did get a laugh, but we have no name. We're part of the Opera Association. If there are any other doctors that are interested and hear this, we would love to have you join us in the future. But in the meantime, the fifth concert of the doctors, and not at the Met as in the previous years, it's at the Tower Theater, will be on the 27th of July. That's a Saturday at 7 p.m.
Correct.
And it won't just be the three doctors. There will be multiple other singers. We're going to be doing a lot of different Broadway show songs. As an example, we got songs from Showboat, songs from Serenade, songs from Jekyll and Hyde, and many others. And there'll be, I don't know how many people, maybe Edna can tell me how many people will be in there, but there'll be a lot of people. And we're hoping that everybody will come to enjoy it. It's usually a very pleasant experience for everybody that attends.
And then there's a third concert that's coming up, not the Doctor's one, not the Carmen one, but there's a third one, correct? Can you tell us about that?
The Zarzuela concert is on the 28th of July.
Wow,
And-
busy, but I hate to interrupt, but it's exciting to hear so many concerts going on.
Correct. We have a wonderful specialist who is the complete individual in every aspect. He's a pianist, he's a coach, he is the head coach at USC for zarzuelas, he's the Spanish expert, and he also is the coach for Carmen, John Ballerino, and he's head of the coaching department at the UC of Santa Barbara. So he is here very busily working with all the artists, training the language, training the style, training the music. Zarzuelas are the one-act operas that are performed frequently in the plaza. And so we thought that would be an interesting introduction this summer to add to the Carmen. And then on August 2nd, we have Miwako Isano, who is singing her concert. It's called the Love Fest. It's the Asian music and the blending of Spanish together.
How long are these concerts? So say someone wants to make this is perfect for, like, I would say date night, or I would say you want to go out and enjoy a nice evening. What a great way to do it. But how long should someone allocate for one of these shows? Are we talking hours, an hour?
The individual concerts are 1 hour to 1 hour and 15 minutes with intermission. And the Carmen is 2.5 hours with an intermission.
So we are running out of time this week on the program, but we are going to have you back to talk a little bit more about yourselves and the California Opera Association. Briefly, why is music so important? You hear people sing to themselves. So, when you're driving, I know you've seen people dancing to the music. My son heard a song on the TV the other day, and he ran towards us and started jumping up and down on the couch. It's a loaded question, but to end this program, why is music so important?
It is the one complete form of balancing the spirit and the soul of each individual. When you hear music, you're happy. When you hear music, you can be completely healed. Music is really quite entertaining, but it also is very healing.
Dr. Flam?
It's a very complicated question and a complicated answer. I think our brain has evolved in such a way that music was part of that evolution, from communicating at a distance with banging on drum-like objects to voice calling. And some people are able to sing and enjoy playing an instrument, but even those that don't do either of those things still enjoy hearing music. I don't know of anybody that doesn't enjoy music of some type or another. There's a lot of variation in the types of music and what individuals prefer, but I think it's constructed into our neurobiology, and we can't really live without it.
You know, our director, Paul Starcevich, who's making us look and sound good, he loves music too, and he's involved in the folklore society. And so some of the things he goes and records, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, both of you, for coming on the program this week. We'll see you next week as well for a little bit for the first portion of next week's show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's all for this edition of the Central Valley Ledger. You have been listening to an interview of Dr. Marshall Flam and Mrs. Edna Garabedian, both of whom are with the California Opera Association. They have some wonderful programs coming up for you to enjoy. Thank you to our volunteer crew that made this production and every production possible. We simply couldn't do it without you. Our technical director was Paul Starcevic. He's assisted by our associate director, Gabriel. Thank you also to those listening to this broadcast on KFSR 90.7 FM and to those watching on CMAC, Comcast 93 and AT&T 99. We hope you enjoyed the program this week. Tune in next week to a new edition.
KFSR and CMAC present the Central Valley Ledger every Sunday morning at 11:30. For a complete program schedule, visit kfsr.org.